Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Emergencies can happen at any time. That's why building an emergency kit and having a plan is so important. Southern California Edison stays ready for the unexpected, and they encourage you to be prepared too. For more information and to update your outage alerts, visit SCE.com/be prepared.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost at Cincinnati 5-2. Their lead in the NL West is down to 3 games over San Diego. The Padres have won 5 straight. The Angels' 3-game winning streak was snapped with a 6-3 loss at home to Texas. The highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL plays for the Chargers. Left tackle Rashawn Slater signed a 4-year extension worth $114 million. $92 million is guaranteed. Slater, entering his 5th season with the Chargers, will average $28.5 million with his new deal. The HBCU Legacy Bowl, an all-star game for HBCU football players, got a major financial boost from the John Madden Foundation. The foundation, named in honor of the legendary NFL broadcaster, agreed to cover all expenses for the Legacy Bowl career fair, which attracts more than 800 HBCU students from around the country. The Legacy Bowl is scheduled for February 21st in New Orleans. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you. Tell me who that nigga if it ain't me. If it ain't a party, then it's gonna be. Never had a problem that I couldn't solve. It must be official if I get involved. Quarter pound of fire burning daily. Harder to remember, getting harder to remember. I've been through enough to drive me crazy. I don't think my mama's gonna save me. Maybe I'm not flying, but I'm floating. If we're not headed to the top where we're going, 2 miles an hour, can you picture me rolling? Cause life is so much better when you live in slow motion.
Yeah, still on that Sir. I've always been on that Sir. It's one of my favorite artists right now. One of my favorite artists. And ever since we went to see him at the Hollywood Bowl, he's even went up a notch. And when you like someone already and then you see them and they just show out and do an amazing performance, they can even go up a notch in your playlist. That's what happened with Sir. And I added Leon Thomas because I really didn't know much about him. But he's a very, very talented man. Looking forward to talking with a new member of my playlist. He's a UK soul icon. Should have known about him because he's been around for a minute, but did not, I must admit. And now if you don't, you'll learn about him with me. If you do, you'll say I told you so. He is Omar, and he'll be joining me next hour in the studio. I can confirm, great news, that the Freedom Flotilla Coalition and our own Dr. Melina Abdullah, who is actually personal friends with Chris Smalls, confirming that he has been released. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition confirms that 2 of our volunteers, Christian Smalls from the U.S. and Hatem Awini from Tunisia, have been released from Givon prison in occupied Palestine after being abducted in international waters during the Israeli military's violent attack on the Handala, a civilian aid vessel sailing to break the blockade on Palestinians in Gaza. They are now safely in Jordan, where they will board their flights home. So that's great news. They go on to say, and I do think this is important, that as we welcome their safety, we also call attention to thousands of Palestinian political prisoners who remain unjustly held in Israeli prisons under inhumane and illegal conditions. Their continued detention is part of Israel's broader system of apartheid and repression targeting the Palestinian people. Their freedom is our collective responsibility. I think that that's an important point, too. While I celebrate Chris Smalls, the only black person on that flotilla, who's also an important labor leader here in the United States, mobilizing Amazon workers, one of the things that's been troubling for me about the whole conflict in Gaza is how it really revealed to us the way that the Israeli state will round people up, including many teenagers, and hold them without charges, which violates every principle of fair and equal justice globally. When you take someone into custody, you need to charge them. Then they can get counsel. They need to get a speedy trial. They need due process, something we seem to be phasing out here in the United States. But Israel has a habit, and when we've seen in these prisoner exchanges the releases of imprisoned Palestinians, many of them have been held for months and months, sometimes over a year, with no charges. So just catch and hold, which is wildly inhumane and violates every international standard of justice. So I applaud that statement for pointing out the fact that there are thousands, and one of the reasons when they exchange prisoners for hostages, which, by the way, we shouldn't have to say this, but we say it because people are so confused and so stressed out in their analysis of Israel and what's happening in Gaza. Of course, no one condemns murdering civilians on October 7th or the 60 to 100 plus that have been murdered since. But none of that justifies the slaughter of babies, nor the genocide on any people. So glad to be able to confirm that Mr. Smalls is out. If you want to talk about a thing, 800-920-1580. Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey will join me for part of this hour, and then we'll be talking to the singer Omar. I asked, what would Jesus do? And in that context, I was talking about the way that the Democratic Party fails to address the needs of the under-resourced, the poor, and the working class. And this is also true of the Republican Party. All they will say is middle class. They'll talk about the woes of the middle class. Even as they make policies and decisions that shrink the middle class, they'll act like they're here for the middle class. What do I mean by that? Well, look at the big ugly the big ugly bill, which increases taxes on many in the middle class while giving tax breaks to the rich and failing to help the poor. And Dems do the same kind of thing when they overinvest in the military budget but fail to extend the child tax credit, fail to work on things like Medicare for all, universal health care, which would shore up the middle class. Because one of the main things that leads, one of the main causes of bankruptcy and bad credit, which leads to houselessness, is medical debt. That is one of the things that is completely obliterating the middle class in this country. I have a friend whose wife just fell ill, suddenly ill, They get a bill for almost $500,000. Who can deal with that? Who can sustain that on a middle-class salary? So I contend that's why I was saying, what would Jesus do? Jesus would stand with the poor, right? The least of these. Truth Speak says, what would Muhammad do? Okay, I'll take that too. And I don't claim to be a scholar of either the Quran or the Bible. But we know that both of those traditions, the Christian and Muslim faith, emphasize grace and mercy upon those who have less resources. Oh, the poor, the working class. That was my point. It's time for Democrats to stop being corporate hucksters for the rich, pretending to represent for black people, for working class folks, for Latinos and others, for the true multiracial democracy which we have never achieved in this country. But we can achieve it. We absolutely can. What does that mean? It means leaning into the progressive wing of the party. And Paul says, like he always says, yes, it's the Gilded Age too. It's a class war, and I think that is true. But that's not the only thing, right? Because clearly the politics of race are playing a role in this race war. And to an extent, I think you'd say, Paul and I would agree, that they're playing a role they've always played, which is disguising the oligarchy, allowing working class and under-resourced white folks to be fooled into thinking that Elon Musk has their best interests at heart, that Donald Trump has their best interests at heart. So, yeah, I think that once again, you can't discount race, but it goes back to this idea. If you can identify your race, your ethnicity, your nationality, your culture, your religion, hopefully with that comes a class analysis, because who are we in the world, or who are we in our country, also does have to do with our class standing. And that's one of the reasons why someone like a Chris Smalls becomes a hero. Because who are the Amazon workers? Who are the Starbucks workers? Who are the people working in home health care? That is the working class. Those are the folks that need raises in minimum wage, that need even more than folks in the middle class and upper middle class and the wealthy need universal health care. College loan forgiveness, which is extinct under this current administration. Protections for consumers, which are also extinct under this current administration, which is basically dismantled the Consumer Protection Bureau. Who does that impact? Well, you're all over here rooting for these Republican policies. Who gets hurt when student loan forgiveness goes away? Working class people, poor people, and yes, the middle class. But most egregiously, the working class. Because when you're in the working class, you're working 1, 2, 3 jobs to keep the lights on, keep a roof over your head. You're the family that can be thrown off their square by medical debt. Because what do you do when you get a $10, $20, or $500,000 $10,000, $20,000 or $500,000 medical bill? You get caught in a cycle of bad credit, collections, and financial ruin. That is why these policies like free college for all, like Medicare for all or universal health care, like student loan forgiveness, are so popular with the American people. If you take off the labels of Democrat or Republican and just put the policies on the table, the American people love progressive policies. And that's why the Democratic Party needs to stop pussyfooting around with this centrist, corporate pablum and lean into the progressive wing of the party, the policies, the persons, the Zoran Mandamis of this party. The fact that I'm reading here that the State Department didn't even show up for Chris Smalls. Once again, that's a person who represents the working class. Where are you, Democratic Party? You got to show up for working class people. You got to show up for black people, even when it's not election season. You got to show up for Latino people, even when it's not time for you to get a vote or get $1. For First Nations, Indigenous folks, for Asian people. This cannot just be what you call identity politics. It has to be policies and commitments that extend around the calendar year. and that's why I say Kamala Harris shouldn't run for a second term. She was vice president, not president. That's why I say she should not run a second time at this time. That's why I say the Dems need to go ahead and endorse Mamdani. That's why they need to lean into Summerlee when she cleverly passes some legislation calling on more transparency around the Epstein files. Where are the Epstein files? It's the perfect time to call me. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is where you belong. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Conversation sure does continue. As I said, and now I've had a second confirmation. Keeley from Black Lives Matter Grassroots says, confirms that Chris Smalls has been released, and he is going to be meeting with him shortly. So I'll be looking forward to hearing that report back. It's great news. It's very perilous having a progressive, radical labor leader, a black labor leader in Israeli custody. Not a good look. And I know that one of the reasons that he is out is because of the pushback from you and me, the social media and other pushback. Oh, I meant to ask you guys what you think about this. So many things going on right now. And I know it's our national hour, but I think this has national implications anyway, which is that the LA City Council has banned the N-word and the C-word from the city council meetings. Some people are going wah wah and crying censorship. And I don't believe in censorship. But I think this is a good move. I don't know if I was a lawyer, I'd be trying to think of a justification for this. But the fact that these racist trolls can show up to our city council meetings and call our black city council members the N-word and call our woman city council members the C-word, rhymes with runt, is terrible. And nobody should have to deal with those hazardous working conditions. Those are hazardous working conditions. Not only that, it keeps people who don't want to hear that out of the meetings, right? Would you take your grandma to a city council meeting where you have to hear some nut like this guy Armando Herman shouting racist comments all day when we're trying to do the city's business? No, thank you. It's going to be interesting. They're already, all the trolls are lining up to sue. The council president, Marquise Harris Dawson, says that it's just gotten out of hand, and he's been talking about this for a long time. So they're going to challenge it in court. They're saying it violates their First Amendment free speech rights, and maybe they'll win. I don't know. To me, this is a little close to fire in a crowded theater, because if you call me that and I'm on the city council, I'm going to get down and beat your butt. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that on the radio, huh? Well, I'm not on the city council, so it doesn't matter. But those are fighting words, right? Are you calling me the C word and the N word at my job? We got a whole problem. Don't make me cuss on the radio. We got a whole problem. And so can it be a Cal OSHA issue? Like toxic work environment? I mean, the courts may well side with them. The city had to pay over $200,000 to some joker because they kicked him out of a meeting, a city council meeting, for wearing a KKK hood and a T-shirt with the N-word. So we have to pay you $200,000 for being a racist troll, but no one has to protect my safety and my work environment as a black woman showing up to the council every day. Make it make sense. This guy, Wayne Spindler, who's an attorney who likes to go to city council meetings and hurl those words around, claims he's going to go read Tupac Shakur lyrics until he's banned from a meeting. And if Tupac was there, he'd beat your butt too. It's not just... Free speech is not absolute. Free speech comes with the consequences of said speech. Let's go to Kwamel calling us from Gardena. Good morning, Kwamel.
Hello there, my dear. Hello there.
Hello.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Actually, no, let me say this first. Okay, so you got Mindful Monday, you got Talking Point Tuesday, you got Wealth Building Wednesday, you got Freedman Friday. Why does Thursday not have a name?
I don't know. Should I give it a name? I used to call it Thought I Wouldn't Thursday and just do random crazy stuff. But is Thursday like a little orphan? Do I need to give it a name?
It feels like it to me. It feels like it's orphaned. It feels like it's like the kid in the family that didn't get the middle name. Like that. Yeah, it's just wrong.
Maybe we should have a contest. Name Thursday.
So before I get to the city council thing, also in the chat, here's talking about who they would turn down for governor, who they would turn down for president. Now with Kamala, I do feel it was probably the right thing to do because, like it was already spoken about, it would kind of be like trying to re-prosecute the Biden baggage,
right?
On the presidential tip, but now on the governor tip. And I think it would unfortunately fire up some random GOP wonk and have those folks like suddenly like all want to pile in like, oh, let's keep out the chick who ain't black, let's get Kamala, just beat her down, and I don't want one of those red weirdos to rise out here. Not saying that Kamala couldn't handle it. Not saying that Kamala couldn't handle it. Yeah, not saying she couldn't handle it, but. Yeah, I just have a feeling that folks have not learned their lessons and would play that dumb game again.
Yeah, you might be right. No to Governor Proud Boy, Mr. Bianco.
Whether if he ever goes to run, wins governor or whoever else on the Dem side, or Newsom wins president, I said in the chat, I'll take it.
Right. No, I saw that comment and I agree. Look, I'd even take Mitt Romney over, another Trump term. I can't believe I just said that. Anyway,
And I got to comment on that. You open up the can.
I'm not saying I want him. I'm just saying compared to where we are now, it'd be a small crisis instead of a big crisis.
Now, unfortunately, I don't think the GOP is ready to moderate. I think the GOP needs to be taught a lesson. I think they need to be crushed by Dems or another party taking control and showing them the error of their ways. I do think they need to be crushed by that. But I know it has a goofy energy to it, but no, they've gone too far. They need to be dealt with. And that's what I feel on that. Now to the city council.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was shocked that they even allowed those kind of words in the first place. I'm like, why would you want to have these unprofessional speaking people coming? Like you're not giving any proper concerns. You're just coming in
because they have public comment. Anybody can comment. That's the thing about public comment. Anybody can comment.
But they're dropping F-bombs at you and just being just vulgar as all get out and rowdy and it's just. I thought I'm like, this is crazy. These people aren't about business. I mean, if you come there about the business with a list of demands, I'm fine with that all day. But just somebody just coming up and just yelling, F you, and
But to me, that if you're sitting there calling the only black woman on the council a C word and an N word, that's a hate crime. Why is that okay? Like, that's not just free speech. Now you're violating my civil rights.
And then it shows that they're basically trying to just put you in your place and handle you some kind of funny way. So yeah, no, I would never have been down with that in the first place. There shouldn't even be that kind of free speech. No profanity at a meeting like that at all. I mean, if you want to get Jasmine Crockett, that's one thing, but the public just going ham. That's just stupid.
Well, we're going to see what the courts say. I wonder if they'll side with the weirdos. They might. We'll see. But I say if they do, you got to run it up the flagpole again another way. Take it to Cal OSHA or take it to the LA Civil Rights Department as hate crimes or, something. There has to be a way to stop people from attacking electeds while they are trying to do their jobs.
Violence, basically. It's verbal violence. And
exactly.
I wouldn't be down with it at all.
Exactly.
Because you're not. If you come to me that way, you're not serious, and we have nothing to discuss. And I'd have you run right out with two jackbooted thugs.
I mean, we got 50 million cops in every city council meeting, which to me is a waste of money anyway. Might as well let them do something like get rid of the people that are verbally attacking. Now, it's a fine line because you do have protesters that go in there and say stuff that city council members don't want to hear, right? People like, Black Lives Matter or, any number of groups that might have strong language, but they don't sit up there and say the N word and the C word and attack people on their identity in a way that, in my view, constitutes a hate crime. No hate crimes at city council meetings. How about that? Kwamel called me at 800-920-1580. And no, we are not MAGA Light, Paul. He called us MAGA Light, Kwamel. You can do the same, 800-920-1580. Right now, it's all about news, traffic, and sports. And then we're going to keep it going. Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey joins as well. That's next.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New audio from January's deadly midair crash at Reagan National Airport has been released.
I just saw a fireball and then it was just gone. So I haven't seen anything since they hit the river, but it was a CRJ and a helicopter that hit.
The collision killed 67 people. The NTSB played the chilling black box recording during a hearing in D.C. Two black community leaders in Cincinnati, Ohio, are clarifying their comments on a downtown brawl involving black and white people. NAACP President David Whitehead and Iris Rowley say remarks they made were taken out of context and stress they don't condone violence. Both are calling for a fair investigation. And Bryson Tiller drops the first half of his double album, The Vices, on August 8th. The second half, Solace, arrives later this year. Tiller's also on tour right now with Chris Brown. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Emergencies can happen at any time. That's why building an emergency kit and having a plan is so important. Southern California Edison stays ready for the unexpected, and they encourage you to be prepared too. For more information and to update your outage alerts, visit SCE.com/be prepared.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost at Cincinnati 5-2. Their lead in the NL West is down to 3 games over San Diego. The Padres have won 5 straight. The Angels' 3-game winning streak was snapped with a 6-3 loss at home to Texas. The highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL plays for the Chargers. Left tackle Rashawn Slater signed a 4-year extension worth $114 million. $92 million is guaranteed. Slater, entering his 5th season with the Chargers, will average $28.5 million with his new deal. The HBCU Legacy Bowl, an all-star game for HBCU football players, got a major financial boost from the John Madden Foundation. The foundation, named in honor of the legendary NFL broadcaster, agreed to cover all expenses for the Legacy Bowl career fair, which attracts more than 800 HBCU students from around the country. The Legacy Bowl is scheduled for February 21st in New Orleans. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Raquel Graham, and I have a big announcement to make. I have my own radio show. It debuts on KBLA 1580 on August 2nd, and it is called Entrepreneuring. I'm an inventor, a Shark Tank winner, entrepreneur for over a decade, and a proud mom of 2. I created this show because I know firsthand that entrepreneurship doesn't have just one look. Entrepreneuring celebrates what building a business really looks like. Big, medium, small, and micro. Some of us are running multi-million-dollar operations. Some of us are braiding hair in our kitchens. We're bakers, grant writers, laundromat owners, event promoters. Mark your calendars. Please tune in August 2nd, KBLA 1580 at 1 p.m. Pacific time. No question is too big or small. Let me know what you'd like for me to cover. See you then.
Give people what they want.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
For the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. I'm being joined by my colleague. He is the Chief National Affairs correspondent and for KBLA Talk 1580. He does his show every day, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 on this radio station. And he is the author of Kamala, the Motherland, and me, Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you?
The same.
Were you surprised that the vice president chose not to run for governor of California? Did that gobsmack you, or did you see it coming?
I think we all knew it was sort of a 50-50 chance that she would either run or she wouldn't run. And she seemed to have left the door open to potentially giving it another go to run for president. But she was very clear that, she took advantage of the time to reflect on this unprecedented campaign, 107 days. That's also the title of her forthcoming memoir coming out on September 23rd, 107 days. And, while there are a number of folks here in California that would have likely voted for her to become the next California governor, she was honest about the fact that, her heart just wasn't in it. And, how refreshing is it that we hear a politician be that transparent? The question is how much more transparent is she going to be in her forthcoming book?
Yeah, that'll be interesting, and it'll say a lot about whether or not she plans to run for president. I mean, it seems like it. You put out a book, that means you go on a national tour, right, usually, and that's a great way to run for president without declaring that you're running for president. But on the other hand, you got all these people that have been building their presidential campaign infrastructure for months who may appear to have a bit of a head start on her.
Well, I mean, I don't think they have too much of a head start because not many of them, if my recollection is correct, have ever run for president and gotten the nomination and have gone as far as she has. Look, I think there are a lot of people out there that want to hear her reflections. They want to hear from her perspective, what went wrong, what she learned. I think Democrats are still in the political wilderness, and they're looking for a direction forward. They're looking for somebody who is willing to offer some amendments to business as usual, and dare I say, a new political playbook. The question is, how willing is she to contribute? Or dare I say, to write that new political playbook with potentially a political comeback story that rivals President Trump.
Yeah, well, that's a good way of looking at it. For me, the question becomes, can you write a new political playbook with an old pen? I feel like I have been an admirer and supporter of the vice president, but she would come to 2028 with the Biden ball and chain. And there's just no way around that. And representing a sort of moderate centrist wing of the Democratic Party, which, although they may prevail again in the form of a Pete Buttigieg, who I used to call Biden light, I don't think that's the way forward for the Democratic Party. I think they've got to lean into the progressive wing of the party.
Well, I think we have a little bit of time to sort of figure out what sticks. As I mentioned earlier, Democrats are in the political wilderness, and Democrats they seem to over-index in getting in their own way, and so I think there's a big question as to whether or not Vice President Harris is capable of illuminating a different path. What is her political voice? Now that she doesn't have to report to President Biden. How candid is she going to be in this new memoir? And, what does she see as sort of the path forward? And are people feeling it, right? And so, it's not a foregone conclusion that just because she leaves the door open, that she's going to walk through that door and that people are going to support her. But, I think like a lot of potential 2028 candidates, I think in some way she's got to offer something new now next.
Yeah.
And short of something new now next, it's going to be the same old thing, and I don't think folks are feeling that.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. I do love the idea of Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, out on the road supporting candidates to flip the House and the Senate. I think that's a great look. And I kind of think Kamala Harris run in 2032 makes more sense than 2028. If a Republican wins again, we'll be ready for somebody that might be able to beat them. If a Democrat wins, then that would be a more of a problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dominique, we have a long way to go. I think the big question is a little less about personality, and it's more about agenda. It's more about delivering for everyday people that in addition to try and make ends meet, they may have a family that has mixed immigration status, and so they have to navigate the sort of mass deportation era that we're living in. We know that college affordability has long been an issue. College access has long been an issue, but right now you're seeing the Trump administration really take a chainsaw to ladders of social and economic mobility. And so the question is, what is the Democratic response? And it can't just be about, we're not about that MAGA life. We're not about whatever Trump is about. It's got to be an affirmative message, an affirmative vision for the future. And I think Democrats have gotten a little addicted to positioning themselves as the anti-Trump. And I just don't think that dogs go hunt much more. And the last thing I'll say, Dominique, is that if Donald Trump, 34-time convicted felon, if Donald Trump can make the biggest political comeback in American history for the presidency, then it really isn't all of that far-fetched that if Vice President Kamala Harris were to sufficiently do some of the things that I've been saying and a number of folks have also offered up, it is within reach. It's within the realm of possibility that she, too, could have a major comeback story. But you got to put in the work, and it looks like the Vice President is opting to do that in lieu of the tried and true running for governor and then turning around and running for president.
Speaking about comeback stories, Dr. Nii, Deadline Hollywood is reporting that Diddy has already pretty much launched an appeal of his conviction on those lesser counts, saying that his conviction is unconstitutional, that he's still in jail, of course, in prison, and the charges that he paid adult male escorts and entertainers. Basically, being a John is pretty much the only thing they actually were able to convict him of. This is prostitution, is what his lawyer said in the motion. And if that's what it is, his conviction is unconstitutional. I got to say, I'm already seeing the comeback unfolding on social media. People have gone from, criticizing him to saying he was convicted because he was too powerful. Or I should say prosecuted. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, this is an interesting story, and it's hard to not look at the Diddy trial and not think about the Me Too movement, not think about the state of cancel culture. Now, and I know, and Tarana Burke, one of the founders of Me Too, would say that the Me Too movement was always about sort of restorative justice. right? It was not about canceling people. It sort of became that. But you see folks like Donald Trump, sort of riding the wave of folks that are canceling cancel culture. And you see that Diddy and his team are attempting to do the same thing. It's also worth noting that there are reports that Diddy's team has been in contact with folks in President Trump's orbit. And so the possibility of receiving a presidential pardon is not outside the realm of possibility. We know that the Southern District of New York, those prosecutors, were also the folks that were behind delivering the 34 counts that President Trump was convicted of. And so this certainly would be, an opportunity for for President Trump to push back, to make an example out of, and to basically stick it to the prosecutors in that office who were a part of his conviction.
Yeah, and also to solidify his trajectory with certain black men who feel that because he's helped Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, that means he's going to help more imprisoned, and Harry O, let us not forget Harry O, that he would help more imprisoned black men. So that is definitely something that would benefit him in many ways. But I was also talking about the rehabilitation of his image, which I see happening online right now. And back to our Kamala Harris convo, forensic accountant says if Nixon had a comeback, why not Harris? Yeah, and you used the Trump example. I think those are both relevant. I'm just saying strategically for the Democratic Party, I think we need all new. And I don't know that any of the people that have thrown their hat in the ring so far represent that.
Dominique, I think one of the questions that you also raise is, what does a political comeback even look like in the Democratic Party in 2026 and 2028? What does it even look like? Because a lot of the examples that we've cited historically have been Republicans. We've been talking about Trump's great political comeback. You just referenced former vice president turned California governor, Richard Nixon, who mounted a pretty significant comeback in his time. Well, both of these are Republicans. Right, and so, what does a Democratic comeback? What does it even look like, and is it possible?
Jerry Brown.
I think those are some of the questions.
Is Jerry Brown that did the California governor? Was that a comeback? I mean, it was like 30 years later or something like that. Yeah.
That's more of a boomerang.
Yeah, I agree.
It's sort of.
I agree.
The sequel.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Kamala the sequel, not Kamala the comeback. Talking with Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey. You're invited in, too, if you'd like to speak. 800-920-1580. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Fatherhood includes being present during pregnancy, delivery, and beyond, supporting your partner and advocating for your baby's health. Black fathers play a key role in reducing maternal and infant health inequalities. Join the free AIM Fatherhood Program and make a difference. Visit blackinfantsandfamilies.org/fatherhood.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon, right after Tavis Smiley, here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
A More Perfect Union is his show. It airs on KBLA from 4 to 6 weekdays, Monday through Thursday. So this is your Friday, Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey, and I appreciate you doing a little extra time on the air with me this morning on your Friday. Tomorrow is the big deadline for the tariffs, right? That our president announced on the so-called Liberation Day, which even though he keeps changing his mind, I'm taking this tariff on, I'm putting it off, 120%, now it's down to 20%. Yeah, you can't even keep up with it. Nevertheless, he says he's standing strong. He on his Lies Social, he said the August 1st deadline stands strong and will not be extended. A big day for America. I'm saying it like that because it was in all caps. And so it's sort of like the showdown. I mean, a few deals have been reached, but many have not been reached. Economists have been warning that this is going to continue to make prices rise. And even though the LA Times says on the cover today that Trump is having his way, thank you, right-wing owner of the LA Times, and making it seem like these tariffs are working, I think the world, and certainly the financial world, is kind of on edge right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Barnum and Bailey ain't got nothing on Trump when it comes to the razzle-dazzle around the use of these tariffs. The president has largely used these tariffs really as a negotiating tool to force folks to the table, to punish folks who do things that are out of alignment with his agenda. And that haphazardness, that randomness in terms of the application of these tariffs is a part of the reason why the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, said he ain't changing the rate. He ain't changing the rate. And for everyday people who aren't clear on what that means, basically the Fed chair is the one who sets interest rates. He determines how expensive or inexpensive it might be in order to borrow money, right? And so if you were looking to get a loan for a home, for a car, if you got to put that washer and dryer on credit, what the Fed chair does in terms of setting the rate, the interest rate, it makes a difference in terms of what things will cost, but it also makes a difference in terms of managing our risk around inflation. And the Fed chair has said that as long as Trump is wilding and applying these haphazard tariffs to folks around the world and creating economic uncertainty, he ain't changing the rate. And so the president is trying to have it all sorts of ways, no surprise there. But make no mistake, this is about real people and the costs that we will ultimately pay for the shelter that we need, for the transportation that we need, for the goods and services that we need. And so I suspect this is going to be a major issue in the 2026 midterm elections when we find out whether or not inflation becomes more or less of an issue.
Yeah. Well, the Yale Budget Lab, which is a nonpartisan policy research center, said that the tariffs could cost the average household, speaking of how it impacts you and me, an extra $2,400 this year because of higher prices on imported goods. That is a lot of money for most folks. $2,400 out, that's a lot of bills that could be paid. And so I think these pronouncements he's having his way or whatever don't, to your point, take into account the real impact. With China, Mexico, Canada, and India don't have deals yet. Those are some of our biggest trading partners. Not just biggest trading partners, but people who we rely on to make stuff that we need, right? We get energy from Canada. Everything is made in China or Mexico. And so it's hard to imagine how this is going to end well.
You're absolutely right. I think I saw yesterday or the day before the president announced a 20 or 25% tariff on goods from India. India, again, to your point, one of our biggest trading partners. And so, it has yet to be determined what short-term and long-term effect, even just the threat of these tariffs, let alone the implementation of these tariffs, what that could mean. But make no mistake about it, it creates a level of economic uncertainty, economic anxiety. I mean, for folks who are looking to invest, particularly small businesses, it puts them in a tough spot because, are you gonna make business decisions operating, with faith that President Trump, is being honest, that his economic policy, is in alignment, with where the market opportunities are, or are you going to hold, right? Yeah. And whatever decision, small businesses and big businesses alike, whatever decision they make in answer to that question, is going to impact the economy. It's going to impact our pocketbooks, and so stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that the LA Times article does say, which I think is honest, is that some of the things that folks have said they will do just to get deals are highly unlikely to happen, right? They're just, once again, they're placating this dude, saying that they're going to invest billions in the economy. The European Union agreed to a 15% tariff, and they claim they're going to, I think it's $750 billion that they're going to invest. We shall see. But they got their rate down from 30%. And again, Japan promised to invest $550 billion. We shall see. But they got a 15% deal as well. So a lot of this stuff is kind of smoke and mirrors, it seems.
It is. And can I just point out, Dominique, in our remaining minutes, that, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri is proposing a bill where, every American is basically going to get a $600 check from, this massive tariff fund. The president, says every chance he gets that, we're bringing in billions, billions. The United States is becoming so rich. I think a lot of folks will believe it when we see it. Yeah. Right? And so, again, let's see what happens.
And that $600 would be coming out of our pockets because we're the ones that are going to end up paying the tariff. So you'll pay yourself $600. How does that pencil out? I'm trying to figure that out.
In monopoly money. In monopoly money. Don't pass go.
Definitely don't collect $600. Dr. Nii, tell folks how to keep track of you if they can.
You can follow me at Dr. Nii Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii Q, and I pop right on up for you to follow. Also, subscribe to a More Perfect Union podcast powered by KBLA Talk 1580. That way you'll never miss an episode of More Perfect Union. That's if you're not joining us live from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific.
Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey, thank you. And it's also a great time to pick up his book, Kamala, the Motherland, and Me. So you can even be smarter as you opine on these topics. Dr. Nii Quartelai Quartey, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dominique.
We're talking with Omar, the R&B soul icon from the UK, next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New audio from January's deadly midair crash at Reagan National Airport has been released.
I just saw a fireball and then it was just gone. So I haven't seen anything since they hit the river, but it was a CRJ and a helicopter that hit.
The collision killed 67 people. The NTSB played the chilling black box recording during a hearing in D.C. Two black community leaders in Cincinnati, Ohio, are clarifying their comments on a downtown brawl involving black and white people. NAACP President David Whitehead and Iris Rowley say remarks they made were taken out of context and stress they don't condone violence. Both are calling for a fair investigation. And Bryson Tiller drops the first half of his double album, The Vices, on August 8th. The second half, Solace, arrives later this year. Tiller's also on tour right now with Chris Brown. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Emergencies can happen at any time. That's why building an emergency kit and having a plan is so important. Southern California Edison stays ready for the unexpected, and they encourage you to be prepared too. For more information and to update your outage alerts, visit SCE.com/be prepared.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost at Cincinnati 5-2. Their lead in the NL West is down to 3 games over San Diego. The Padres have won 5 straight. The Angels' 3-game winning streak was snapped with a 6-3 loss at home to Texas. The highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL plays for the Chargers. Left tackle Rashawn Slater signed a 4-year extension worth $114 million. $92 million is guaranteed. Slater, entering his 5th season with the Chargers, will average $28.5 million with his new deal. The HBCU Legacy Bowl, an all-star game for HBCU football players, got a major financial boost from the John Madden Foundation. The foundation, named in honor of the legendary NFL broadcaster, agreed to cover all expenses for the Legacy Bowl Career Fair, which attracts more than 800 HBCU students from around the country. The Legacy Bowl is scheduled for February 21st in New Orleans. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Hey man, hey, what's up, bro? What's that station you listening to? Oh man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio, KBLA 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580.